Unforgiveness and offense are such emotion-laden topics where hurt can be so painful. We feel like we're caught in a tug-of-war with Satan, where the pit feels like hell itself. Sometimes we feel like we're on one side with our thoughts, our feelings, and our faith, and on the other side of that pit, Satan is pulling hard. He's screaming to know your rights, reminding you that you've been wronged, yelling that you deserve to be mad as hell, and telling you to submit to your feelings while covering the pit with some twigs and brush like a bear trap.
When we've been deeply hurt, betrayed, or offended, we find ourselves in this horrible tug-of-war that sometimes pulls at our psyche all day long and even into our dreams. We cannot shake it. How could they have done this to me? What happened? How awful. We cry, we get angry, and we fight with these emotions. So, without being trite, what if you had a way to simply let go of Satan's rope? To let him fall backward and out of our lives with his unforgiveness lies simply by refusing to play the offended game. Believe it or not, we can do this by changing our perspectives on offense and entitlement regarding sheeple. Yes, sheeple.
See, sheeple are people or events that can make us mad or offended for any one of 1,000 reasons. Some of the big ones that come to mind include that sheeple are people who, number one, don't think for themselves. Number two, they don't know how to drive. They're not reliable, they're lazy, they're on the wrong political or religious or ideological persuasion. They seem selfish, they make mistakes, they say the wrong things, and they are like sheep who just follow the herd, or in this case, the crowd. Yep, we like to think that those people are not like us. They're not reliable, hardworking, good drivers, thoughtful, and etc.
So, we call them sheeple. We struggle with their actions and decisions and find them extremely hard to be around because, like sheep, they are oblivious or seem to follow the crowd from one thing to the next. It might help our perspective on all these sheeple if we stop for just a moment to remember that Jesus called himself the Good Shepherd. He likened himself to a shepherd who tended his sheep. Remember, Jesus did not work with the religious leaders of his day to build a better church, but rather, he worked with sheeple. Yes, regular people like most of us.
What if, just knowing how Jesus loved the sheeple, what if just knowing this one thing allowed us permission, some breathing room for the other guy's mistakes and offenses? When we come to realize that we too are imperfect people who are surrounded by other imperfect people, it can give us enormous freedom. My dad always liked to say that the best way to manage our expectations was not to expect too much. Well, perhaps an even better way to look at this is to expect that most people are doing the best that they can at the moment. And like us, they're just trying to be their best.
Either way, these viewpoints will cause us to be occasionally delighted and rarely disappointed or offended. What a freeing way to live. In a previous video in our forgiveness series, we talked about how Jonah was furious that God didn't destroy the evil people from Nineveh. But see these amazing words to see how God responded to Jonah. Should I not pity Nineveh, that great city, in which are more than 120,000 persons who cannot discern between their right hand and their left?
Look at that. There is no doubt that God loves all of his people. Even those from Nineveh who don't know him, they don't say the right prayers or know the difference between their right and left hands. God even loves people who wander around, get lost, follow the crowd, drive poorly, and make mistakes like sheep.
Perhaps if we recognize how we are all sheeple, some more, some less than others, we can try to be more like God and less like Jonah. We too can offer grace. We simply let go of Satan's rope and refuse to play the offended game with him anymore.
Choosing to give grace towards others instead of being judgmental, harsh, and critical can give us enormous freedom. Yes, It not only gives grace and mercy to others, but imagine how it can free us so we no longer have to be hard on ourselves and everyone around us. What a big deal. Choosing forgiveness or unforgiveness is truly a big deal for us in our relationships. Comment "Help me forgive" if that's what you want, and then visit helpmeforgive.org, where you'll discover the true freedom that comes with forgiveness. We'll see you there.